Greetings, Nostalgic Vegan here, and today I'm actually going to solve this puzzle. And yes, this is another one of my metal brain teaser puzzles. The space has two loops. The third loop is this piece. Let's get this solved. When a revolution is used to safeguard a dictatorship, it targets the resentful instead of the oppressed. That's what George Orwell warned us about. This puzzle has been taken apart. Now, let's put this motherfucker back together. But if a revolution was to serve the oppressed, like minorities, as well as survivors of domestic violence, that's when the revolution becomes democratic. That's a revolution done right. George Orwell warned us about revolutions that would go wrong. Like the biggest mistake communists made that led to totalitarianism was the revolution ended up serving the resentful. And Stalin, like Vladimir Lenin, warned us, like he warned his followers about Stalin. But in order for socialism to work, it has to be democratic instead of a one-party state. Like, in order for socialism to work, it has to be democratic. There are so many different forms of socialism. Like there are so many different forms of socialism. Not all socialism is created equal. Some are democratic, some are libertarian, and some are authoritarian. Mutualism is a form of libertarian socialism. There's also social democracy is basically it's basically socialism with regulated capitalism. It's a form of socialism that aims to regulate capitalism. But in my form of socialism, from someone who's part of the far left, we shouldn't tax billionaires. Instead, we should tell them to behave, actually. We should tell those who run large businesses, they're going to have to behave. Like, they cannot be flashing wealth out in public. Instead, they are going to have to behave. Like if they continue to misbehave around the workers, it would be a pretty good time to boycott the business that the misbehaving capitalists run. But if a capitalist is well behaved, we can support them as long as they behave. And to bring forth socialism to bring forth a socialist system without needing to outsource people, we have to have a broader variety of we have to diversify how businesses are run instead of necessarily relying on heavy taxation instead of relying on regressive taxation, we should rely on leveling the playing field for everybody. We need policies that encourage fair competition. We need policies that encourage fair competition. In the work, like fair competition. Like we have, like my policy is on telling, I'd get the best from all of the socialist systems while taking out the worst parts of it. Like the best parts is the way China does good with billionaires. They tell billionaires how to behave. Like they tell billionaires to behave. But they rely on government policies. But the way we're going to tell billionaires to behave, we're going to rely more on peer pressure instead of government policy. We are going to rely more on peer pressure instead of government policy to tell billionaires to behave. Like the moment billionaires start misbehaving, that's when we withhold support from them. I do like how artificial intelligence is restructuring work. But I don't like how all those AI data centers are privately owned. Instead, those AI data centers, they should be democratically managed. And as more jobs are being taken over by automation, this is where we need to focus on universal basic income. But if the automation is in a cooperative, like those in the cooperative who automate the cooperative, they'd be exempt from universal basic income. Instead, they would rely on automation dividends instead of necessarily a universal basic income. Like, there should also be the option, like, in this new world, a lot of people think that the new world would be anti-capitalist, and they'd be right. But the way the new world should be executed is there should be no one-party state. Instead, it would be there should be no two-party system either. Instead, it would be a multi-party democracy with many different ways of how businesses should be run, with equal merit. Like, it's not just going to be corporations that would dominate. Some businesses that would... It's not going to be publicly traded corporations or privately held corporations that would dominate. Instead, there would also be the option for consumer cooperatives, worker cooperatives, producer cooperatives, as well as employee-owned businesses. Partnerships and sole proprietorships. And we are already seeing the first sign, economically, we are seeing the first signs of that paradigm shift. And another sign of that paradigm shift is increased support for third-party politicians. And even as a socialist, I will always vote for third parties. That way I can bring forth the rise of third-party election as well. Like, now, and part of this new world means we're going to support veterans too. Not just the marginalized groups, but also veterans. And one of the veteran-supported run businesses that you could support is Black Rifle Coffee. And in this new world, there would be gun rights for law-abiding citizens. But we would take guns away from violent criminals. Like, we would strip them of their permits. And that is because many mass shooters often have a history of violent behavior towards their partners. Like, we should close the boyfriend loophole. That way we can truly stop mass shootings. But not all domestic abusers go around shooting up public spaces, but most mass shooters have a history of perpetrating domestic violence. And we have to enforce the laws against giving guns to domestic abusers. Like, we have to enforce them strongly. And we have to crack down on the black markets that give guns, that sell guns to abusers too. Like, we have to crack down on arms trafficking too. Meanwhile, law-abiding citizens can have access to guns as well. Now, and with talking about the new world, there'd be options for healthcare. Like, insurance companies would be required by law to provide coverage. Like, they could no longer, in this new world, insurance companies would be legally not allowed to deny coverage. And what would be the social punishment for denying coverage? We would boycott that health insurance business. And there would also be the option for Medicare and Medicaid. There would also be the option for Medicare, as well as health insurance cooperatives. This would be my idea of providing universal health care to everybody. And the way hospitals should be run is there should be a single medical bill instead of multiple bills. And as always, thank y'all for watching. And as always, keep making those nostalgic and vegan gains.